This is Public Access Lost Transmissions Part 14. Let's do a little bit of recap. We did not have Rob last time, so this is just as much for Rob as it is for all of you, viewers and other players. So we picked up the campaign after a significant hiatus in real world time, and we we have a few things going on. Right now, we've got two active mysteries. We have On Strange Wings, which we had started just a little bit prior to that break. And then we had a new one, which is Slumber Party Summoning Circle. Now, Slumber Party Summoning Circle, I will let you read the detailed summary on the character keeper, Rob, but the basic thrust of it is the Latchkeys went to a slumber party hosted by a friend of Shane's from back when they were kids. It was an adult slumber party with lots of adult things going on. And they played this game called the Crying Circle. And the game ended up actually summoning something. And the Crying Circle is kind of a ritual Ouija board type thing. But they ended up summoning something using this game, and it possessed a young woman called Linnea Rodenbecker. And so Samantha, who hosted the party, basically kind of needs everyone's help figuring out what's going on with Linnea. Linnea's been behaving really strangely. She's kind of in a sort of kind of a fugue state. She's definitely possessed by something because she's been talking to Shane and saying that she knows where Ash is and she can see Ash, and we had a lot of creepy scenes where whatever is possessing Linnea is trying to get underneath Shane's skin vis-a-vis her brother. So there's some stuff going on there. Currently have two clues, one of which I have not given you yet, which you're getting from Silas, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the context of that, though. Jack, do you remember, like, what was the context of Silas Rodenbecker telling you what was going on?
I honestly don't remember. It was something I think that happened while we were in the car together.
Yeah,
But
I'll just pick a clue, and we'll we'll assume that the appropriate role play or the appropriate character interactions happened for you to get that clue. Um, let's see what else is going on. Um, this other mystery on Strange Wings. Uh, Last time Amber and Taylor were principally kind of working on that, but what they were really doing was just driving in a car together, getting on each other's nerves, and to the point where Amber kicked Taylor out of the car and left her on the side of the highway, and then drove off. Um, but it's still an ongoing investigation. The characters have managed to discover a few interesting details to answer this question of, are the Deep Lake Devils terrestrial, or are they from another planet or dimension? Um, we ended with a couple of interesting things going on there. One thing we ended on doesn't really have anything to do with the mysteries at all, and that's that Amber is aware that her Uncle Joe she now knows that Uncle Joe is having some kind of on the down low affair with Renita Toro. And this is kind of a problem because you all know Renita to be Attafoy 85, possibly a serial killer, possibly just a bad person all around, possibly helped the murderer who killed Ash and other people like get away with it. Like there's a lot going on there. And so Amber's kind of on her own, like kind of like, gotta get her own issues going on there. Um, with regards to On Strange Wings, we saw the Deep Lake Devils for the first time, kind of. We sort of half saw them. But basically, Taylor was chatting with this sort of vagrant homeless guy called Spider, and the information move was, or the meddling move was triggered, and it was a six, and we saw basically like Taylor turned around and saw that someone had beheaded Spider, and that's where we ended the session, with Spider blood spraying out of the wound where his head used to be, sitting in the middle of a motel parking lot. It was a bit of a mess. Now I will say, Natasha, you do have the option to turn a key if you want to avoid that fate for Spider. We got to see it dramatically, but it doesn't have to have happened that way. That's for you to decide. Um, but so that's where things sort of stand. Obviously there's a lot of other little details, but Rob, you'll get caught up as we go. That's the broad outlines of it, I suppose. Taking a look at the actual latchkeys themselves. Um, Everyone, oh, Amber has a new has a new condition called Spooky Spice, which Zachary would have enjoyed quite a lot. The acquiring of said condition because it basically involved like two mean girls at a gas station, just just completely like giving it to Amber, and Amber getting pissed off, and like yeah, it was the whole thing. Amber and Taylor had a really rough day. Um, but yeah, everyone's got like I think nobody has more than two conditions, so you're all kind of okay as far as that goes.
Shane
Um,
also had a rough day though.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a bad day all around for the Latchkeys. It was a bad day, but it was a good day for the players. It was a really bad day for the Latchkeys. Um, yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. I don't know, Rob, if that was helpful or not, but if you have any questions, let me know. I think you'll probably be able to figure it all out as you'll get
I'll
caught up as
catch
we
up.
go. Yeah, yeah, you'll be fine.
Mm.
We don't know where Zachary's been though. It has been a little bit of time since the events of serpents and sepulchers, and so I guess we'll find out what Zachary's been up to, and we'll catch up with him today. One thing that I wanted to do from last time is if you have any keys that need to be resolved, I'd like to do that straight away. I don't know if anyone does, but if you want to check your sheet real quick and see, that would be great.
I think I'm good.
Right.
I have XP I need to
Good job.
spend.
Yeah. Amber and Taylor, I guess you didn't have any keys either. Right. Well, in that case, we don't have to worry about that. Instead, I will pose the question. Taylor, are you going to be turning a key to save Spider, or are we letting Spider be beheaded?
Let's have him stay dead. I kind of
It's fun.
enjoyed that. I mean,
Okay.
in a way.
Yeah, it's a big deal, right? Because now suddenly this thing that was like being chalked up to sort of cryptid type urban legend rumor things has become really, really real now. There's also an interesting question of like, will anyone believe it was actually the Deep Lake Devils? Obviously, I don't think anybody's going to think that you had anything to do with it, Taylor. That would be really extreme, especially because you're both out there in the parking lot and he's fully on beheaded. And that just seems unreasonable for you to have done yourself. But something happened to Spider, obviously, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. Amber, you had talked about wanting to go to, I mean, you had an invitation from Uncle Joe to go have spaghetti dinner with he and Renita so that you can see that Renita's perfectly fine. But the decapitation of Spider might change that because it might require everybody from the sheriff's department to sort of do some, they might be stuck with this for a little bit. And so,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So that may not happen. You can still go have spaghetti with Uncle Joe. It just may not be with Renita. So, but yeah, let's just go look at the phase here. So it's the dusk phase, I guess, technically speaking. You do have an Odyssey tape. Are you all going to watch it tonight?
I'd be down to.
All right, Odyssey
Yeah.
tape being watched. We love that. Where?
What are our options?
Well, I suppose that
Escondido.
you could sneak back into the nuclear missile silo and watch it there. You could watch it at Escondido Street still. You could obviously watch it at Rodenbecker. What are some other VCRs we found?
The abandoned office building.
That
where
would be
Zagreus
interesting.
was killed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Nothing
interesting.
special will happen there again, though, because Zagreus is resolved. Let's see what other options might be
We haven't been to
interesting.
the ranch so far, or have we?
You have
Yeah, we
not
haven't
been to the
No, we
ranch
haven't been to
yet.
Dolores.
Okay.
No, not yet. So that's not on the table quite yet. That I'm sure that's coming though at some point.
Well, I mean, if we really want to watch the tape, we could just probably watch it at home, right? And then do our thing.
Yeah,
Tape.
kind of makes sense. Just have to get back there.
Yeah, get the gang back together, right, as best you can. I mean, you don't all have to be there to get the tape watched. I mean, like Amber, if you do want to go to the spaghetti dinner, you certainly can. Um, I don't think you're quite ready to answer any questions yet, so we'll skip that for now. You could maybe make a stab at On Strange Wings, the threshold question, but it'd be a pretty flat roll. I mean, if anybody wants to, I'm open to hearing your theories, but it seems like maybe a little early to me. I don't know. Um, Otherwise, I just want to know what you're all doing. I mean, who's going to be watching the tape? And if you're going to be watching the tape, anything you want to do in the middle of during the breaks or as it's playing, or anything you want to be trying to accomplish during that?
I'll definitely watch the tape. I think like Zachary being hung would be a good opportunity to bring him back into
Yeah,
into
catch up with the
fold.
group a little bit. Yeah, I think that would be
Mm.
good. Give you a chance to have some time with the group. I'm into that. What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, I'll hang out with Zachary tonight.
Okay,
My
sounds
best
good.
boy is Zachary.
Amber, Uncle Joe, or the Latchkeys?
I'd rather spend time with the others.
Yep.
And what do you think, Natasha? Is it time for us to already get back on good terms, or should we keep the tension?
Let me think about it, but I was thinking about your uncle anyway, because if there's a beheaded person in the parking lot, probably the police would be called, and the police is Renita, of course, so they probably would have canceled spaghetti dinner
Well,
anyway.
yeah, well,
So
with Renita for sure, right? I mean, Uncle Joe might still be making spaghetti, but it may not be a whole like dinner date thing anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I could bring Taylor. So because I suppose
That's true.
he made three people.
Anyway, that's all to you all. Whatever you want to do.
well, yeah, if you want to.
And then we have like an awkward apology or non-apology.
I
Let's
mean,
see.
Uncle Joe's never met any of your weird
Yeah,
friends that you're here
we'll
with,
see.
so
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
that sounds good. All right,
just
let's
have
talk
to
about
pick me up.
yeah, let's talk about the Odyssey tape then. The Odyssey tape is on line. Let's see here. It's Calamity, right? Line 166. Calamity Raccoon '06 Big Bad Pure White Ultimate Highest Level Warning. This tape is an episode of The Musical Adventures of Calamity Raccoon, a Saturday morning cartoon about a fabled pizza farm that aired on TV Odyssey. The opening credits, backed by a catchy theme tune, introduces the scraggly Calamity Raccoon and his barnyard band, including Farmer Roy, Clarice the Cow, Pig Daddy, and Vincenzo, the Italian pizza chef. Let's go ahead and make some assignments here. Everyone does paint the scene. Let's see. Prompt two will be Rob. Prompt three will be Natasha. And prompt four will be Jack. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break so you all can think about your prompts and kind of think about what kind of scenes you want to have with the latchkey you're going to be hanging out with tonight. And we'll come back and we'll do this night phase. Before we kick off this night phase, Shane, the clue from Silas is with conversations with him, you discover that no. At some point, you find something that Linnea leaves for you, and maybe Silas finds it, but Linnea left it, and it's a small plastic baby doll hand wrapped with white thread. That is your clue. Let's pop this tape in. Calamity Raccoons, Good Time Pizza Farm. A smiling sun rises over the technicolor fields and pastures of the pizza farm. It's time for lighthearted hijinks with the Barnyard Band.
The sun itself is obviously a felt sort of smiling puppet, and it's got a little appendage, a little arm with a little white puffy glove on it with 4 fingers. And it starts waving at the audience at home. We see the little string moving back and forth. Its big old smile is like the sort of solid line of teeth, like a cartoon. But he looks down upon the Barnyard Band, and especially Vincenzo, and says, "What's special today?"
And where we find Vincenzo is he's actually in like a wooden bathtub outside the back of the farmhouse, and like scrubbing his back with a thing, and he's singing some Puccini opera. And he says to the son, "I have baked her the best spaghetti." And as he gets out of the bathtub, he realizes that somebody has been eating the spaghetti he's had on the stove while he was bathing. And we go into an extended kind of chase sequence where Vincenzo goes, "Somebody touch on my spaghetti," and then starts chasing all of the other characters around, and they're like popping out of unlikely windows and doors, like physically impossible transitions and things as Vincenzo chases them around the house with a rolling pin.
And afterwards, he lines the culprits up and scolds them thoroughly and tells them that they now have to get ingredients for him to make new spaghetti, which I hope this is correct. And they need eggs and flour. And of course, the characters decide to steal them from the neighbors, and there's all kinds of eggs falling on people's heads, and flour all over the place, and making pig-shaped snow angels in flour, and they're all a terrible mess.
Eventually, we see the crew in the kitchen making spaghetti, like with big meatballs and tomato sauce. And Vincenzo puts on the finishing touch, and then the spaghetti come to life. The meatballs have eyes, they open, there's a smiling face, and it says, "Thank you for bringing me to life. I will grant you a wish." And Vincenzo says, "Well, I wish you are delicious." And then we fade to black.
I love it. We'll pause the tape there. Let's pick up with Amber and Taylor in the car on the way to Uncle Joe's after your eventful day. Role play.
I'm still my shirt is full of blood and brains, and no, not brains, but yeah, maybe brains. And I'm there's chunks of skin and stuff in my hair, and I'm just sitting there brooding next to you.
And I suppose afterwards or between we'll stop for you to have a shower and get clean up, because I can't present you that way. But I'm not mentioning that at the moment. And there's a silence for a while. And then she says, "I'm so sorry. I was a huge dick. What you've experienced after I left must have been terrible, but even before, I should not have talked to you that way. And I'm sorry for kicking you out of the car and thinking you playing a prank on me.
I'm pretty surprised. I don't say that, but I'm pretty surprised. And I just punch your shoulder softly and mumble, "It's okay."
I mean, we can transition that into a nostalgic move.
I'm into it. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Emma
of course.
says while driving, that reminds me of that one episode in Full House where I don't know the kids' names, but the younger sister didn't believe the older one when she said she saw something, and it turned out that it was right. It was some dangerous stranger actually lurking in their backyard.
Stranger danger.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's totally possible that there's some weird shit going on here. You can see it, but I can't.
You
So
think?
who am I to judge?
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I wouldn't make up ghosts in this place, so it's not even necessary. There's enough spooky activity going on without inventing some more.
So
But I appreciate you saying that.
Sure. If that's all right with you, we can just go home and you can rest, or you could help me. We could go home, you can clean up, obviously. But I'm really concerned about my uncle because he's well, I'm not sure if he's in love, but he's having an affair with Renita. And
No!
yeah. and
With Adafoy Renita.
yes,
Crazy
exactly.
Renita.
Yeah.
Bullhead Renita.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
Yeah.
into that. Maybe she's wearing that for him.
Oh, don't say that.
Okay.
But we have to warn him, and they're having dinner tonight. Well, I suppose she won't come because she has to investigate now, but that might be our
Yeah, you
chance to.
picked me up right before I could talk to her, thankfully. Great timing. Yeah, let's gather all the evidence we have and convince your uncle that she's crazy.
Yeah, and the food's great, great
Let's
as well. It makes great
even though
spaghetti.
you're not making it. Okay.
Yeah, well.
Maybe you got that talent from his side of the family.
And she nods.
Shane and Zachary, you are back at 26 Rodenbecker. The tape is running in the background. Let's just have the scene between the two of you. You've had a day, Shane.
Yeah, if and when Zachary deigns to notice Shane, who is sitting on the opposite side of the couch, he would see that she hasn't really been paying attention to the tape. She's actually got in her hand something that she found in Rodenbecker, the house. She's thumbing through a copy of the King James Bible.
I think Zachary's sitting there in kind of a cloud of smoke in his usual armchair, not on the couch with the others. And he, after some time, looks over towards Shane and says, "Yeah, you're picking up a little of the good word there to make sense of what's been going on."
Hmm? Um, I don't know. She just sort of like flips through a couple more pages and then sets it down beside her. Do you, I mean, obviously we've seen some things out here, but do you believe in like the devil?
You know, the devil's not even in that book you're reading, right? It's a much later invention, in fact.
That doesn't answer my question though.
Serena, we've seen a bunch of weird stuff, but I don't think any old book has any better of an explanation than we do. Which is to say, none at all. Or at least not much of one.
I I mean evil exists, right? Like what happened to my brother, like that couldn't have been the workings of someone who was just having an off day or something. That was evil. And when I was with Linnea earlier, she was talking. She kept bringing up Ash. There's something evil in her voice, and before I came to Deep Lake, I'd always, I'd watch scary movies sometimes. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I'd watch them, with friends, and there would be evil things happening. But it's it's so different watching them and then experiencing them, being around them.
You mean there's like some kind of evil baked into their soul? Is that what you're saying here?
I don't know what I'm saying. Today was just very hard, and I I I feel like I was blithely unaware of the horrible things that people could do. I mean, I read the news. I've seen stories, Dateline and all of that, but to have it happen to you and to have it happen to you in such a way that, like, we can't say that this doesn't exist, right? Like we can't say that, oh, Linnea's just sick. We can't say Ash was just a casualty of some weirdo psycho. No, he was put into something. He saw something. We can't say that Zagreus is just a video game.
I don't know what to tell you, Shane. I don't think I have the answers you're looking for.
I don't think this does either. And she just sort of tosses the Bible.
That feels like a good cut. Rob, let's go back to the tape.
Yeah. We just move the prompt. Meanwhile, Pig Daddy's three little nephews, Figgy, Wiggy, and Poe, are lazing about their cozy cottage while dark clouds blowing from the west. A long shadow creeps up the path to the porch and darkens their doorstep. A great furred paw knocks through. How does the wolf, Mr. Big Bad, graphically murder the three little pigs? We see the wolf, Mr. Big Bad, knock on the door, and the three nephews kind of peep through the peephole in the door and see who it is, and then there's kind of the classic cartoon kind of scrambling around as they bounce off the walls and find places to hide, and one's under the sofa, one's in the fireplace. One's like hiding right behind the door. And we see that Mr. Big Bad has a basket under his arm with the cartoon red checkered cloth across it. And he puts that down outside the door and starts doing a kind of wind up to run at and shoulder charge the door. And his foot kind of spins around and he takes off at huge speed with a cloud of smoke behind him and smashes through the door. And in no time, he's gathered up the three pigs from their hiding places and trots off to the kitchen with them, where he feeds them into a sausage mincer. And at this point, it's extremely graphic for a cartoon. There's blood. There's moments where Mr. Big Bad is really having to grind that handle, as a particularly tough bit of the pig skeleton is going through the sausage maker. And the kitchen looks like an abattoir by the end of it. And then Mr. Big Bad cheerily takes the ground up pig meat and starts making meatballs to go with the spaghetti he stole that's in the basket outside.
Taylor and Amber, as you drive back into town proper, you'll see a street preacher on the corner. He's bellowing out at cars passing by, bellowing out at you about the sins of the world, the sins that you've committed. The street preacher actually gets really, really close to your car as you're kind of idling at a stop sign. And he slams his hands on the glass and he says, "Repent! Repent! Can't you see all of this? All of this is punishment. It's punishment for you, for me, for all of us, for all that we do that blasphemes God."
Yeah, I give him the thumbs up through the window.
You'll hear in the
But I'm
distance.
creeped out, though.
Yeah, in the distance, you'll hear a cacophony of screeching as the sun goes down past the horizon. A flock of starlings, perhaps something worse. And eventually, you said you were going back to get a shower first, right? So I'll put the four of you together for a moment if you want,
Sure.
back at the house. So you can all be together for this little prompt if you wish.
Can we clear conditions?
Oh yeah, do you want to make a case for which ones?
I think Spooky Spice.
Okay. Just because you were kind of being real and nice with Taylor.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
just because okay, I don't care what other people think. I have to.
Yeah, that's good. Taylor, are you gonna make a case for one?
Yeah, I'm making a case for Wolves of the King because Uncle Joe doesn't know that Granita is a wolf in sheep's
very
clothing yet.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like that.
Well,
Fantastic. You'll also get to stumble on a clue, which you can give me at any point during the phase.
Yeah, still thinking about it.
Okay, so you're all together. Role play.
Do we see that Taylor is covered in blood?
Probably.
Yeah, it's
I
kind
mean,
of
is she-
obvious.
Well, I mean, are you are you trying to be discreet about it, or are you just sort of coming in
No, I'm just slouchy, crawling into the house. My mood is better than before, but it's not good by any means.
Holy crap! What happened?
Yeah, I think there might be something to the stories of the, what are they called again? I'm sorry. Deep Lake Devils, because I witnessed a person's head getting snatched off his shoulders,
My God.
and it wasn't
Come in.
human that did that, and it came from the sky.
Did you get a good look at it? What did it look like? What was it?
I didn't get a good look at it because it was so damn fast, but I know that it came from the sky, from up there.
At this point, Shane is getting up and is moving around, trying to get towels, trying to get anything that might
Aw.
be helpful in tidying her up. Maybe like a little wet nap or something. I don't know.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you. That's fine.
Did you all call the
I'm just,
police or?
the hotel manager called the police. And you know who the police is?
Right. Right. What about you, Amber? Did you see this?
I wasn't there, unfortunately.
Yeah, we decided to split up to cover more ground.
And she looks at you, thankful for not sharing any details. And
I do the
not
shoulder bump again.
and she says, yeah, there's a problem. My uncle is kind of dating Renita.
What?
Yeah. So Taylor and I have decided to visit him tonight because we assume she won't be there. Because she
And-
has to investigate the case.
And tell him that he shouldn't be dating the psycho cop.
Yep.
You think
Yeah,
he'll take that
pretty
okay?
much. Family
Even
first?
even if he does take it okay, who's to say that Renita's even gonna accept it? She's dangerous.
True.
We've gotta get your uncle or something. Lord knows what
I'll give
she's
him my
done to him.
taser.
I mean, you're right. He might be in danger if he just breaks up with her.
There's a high probability that she'll try to kill him. She's not above that.
So what are you saying,
Oh.
Shane?
Saying that,
Didn't even think of that.
saying that you've got to get him out. You've got to.
Out of town?
I
Hide
don't
him?
know. I mean, usually you're supposed to call the police, right? But when the police are the crazy ones, I guess you could.
I mean, the sheriff seemed all right.
He did.
Oh,
I
that's
seem to
right.
remember him having a very creepy conversation with me.
Really? Sheriff Handsome? What?
Oh, come on, Taylor. Don't tell me.
Oh, and he's definitely a friend of my uncle's. He was at his dinner party that I catered for. So maybe I'll give him a call because I've got his cell phone number. Don't ask.
And you're still in his good books after catering with what? Some kind of black frosted spider cake or something?
He ate up every bit.
Well,
The
That's
trick
okay.
is to make it realistic so the spiders did actually move. And she winks at you.
I think Zachary has a kind of shot at that.
Zachary, really, that's what creeps you out. That's what gets you. After all,
But
all these the
that's
things we
not the only
witnessed.
thing.
Well,
Okay.
It's
okay,
not the only
maybe
thing.
Amber, maybe you go get your uncle and like bring him back here.
Yeah, and maybe the sheriff
Lock
as
him up.
well, so we can actually, um, when all of us tell that story, I think that's too much evidence, right? To ignore.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, there's some. I put some soap in the shower. It's lavender if you want to use it, Taylor.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Some shampoo too to get stuff out
Thank
of your
you.
hair.
I do have that, but thank you. I know my hair doesn't look like it, but I do use shampoo sometimes. Just kidding.
So what about you, Zachary? How have you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
How about being, well, I don't know, Amber. My brother disappears years ago, hanging out with those serpents at sepulchres weirdos. Then we get involved with, what was that idiot's name? The People's Champ. I don't know. That's a lot to process. So, what was this Taylor was saying about some screaming monster descending from the skies? That's legit. Great. Just what we need.
Let's go
More
back.
evil.
Let's go back to the tape. Natasha.
Yes. As Mr. Big Bad continues to terrorize the countryside, Calamity resolves to defeat the wolf and bring peace back to the pizza farm. Unfortunately, the rest of the barnyard band seem content to run about screaming in panic. What song does Calamity sing to rouse their courage? Well, at first he is just beating a rhythm on a bunch of trash cans with some spoons. And as soon as he captures the attention of the others, he starts really getting into it. And then electric guitars pipe up, and he starts shouting into the camera, "Heart of Steel" from by Manowar, and out of the trash cans pop musicians. They throw away the lids of the trash cans, and out pops a guitarist and a bassist and singer, and this moves the others to tears. The great song, and soon they're all dancing on top of the trash pile because they had to put the trash somewhere since the bins were full of musicians, right? And have a grand old time.
Fantastic. We'll fast forward to Amber and Taylor at Uncle Joe's house. He opens the door and he has an apron, yeah, with a sort of like funny saying on it, like a kiss the
Kiss
cook.
the chef.
Yeah, kiss the cook type saying, right? And but he's still wearing his like like white shirt and slacks from his like day job, right? And
And
he's
his
like,
tie, maybe.
yeah, and he's like, hey, oh, it's well, hi, I'm. He goes to shake your hand. I'm Joe.
Hi, I'm Taylor.
It's so
Nice
good
to
to
meet
meet.
you.
Yeah, you too. It's good to meet one of Amber's friends finally after all these weeks. I'm really, really curious about what you're all doing here in town. and then he says, "Are are you the one that was at the Saguaro Motel when that poor kid got?"
How do you know about that already?
Oh,
And
well,
yes, that was
my girlfriend told me about it. She said one of Amber's friends was there when it happened, and are are you okay?
kinda. I mean, it was kinda gross.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean,
Gee,
things like that don't really happen every day, or do they? Maybe here they do.
you know, I just wish I'd prepared something that wasn't covered in blood red tomato sauce tonight. I think that would probably be uh, better, but we'll get through it.
Oh, that's fine as long as there aren't clumps of hair in it.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. So come on in. Yeah, come. Let's get situated. As you walk in, you can smell like the smell of garlic, the smell of oregano. You know, it smells like, I mean, you're like walking into a Pizza Hut or something, right? And um, he's got like all the, you know, he's got everything laid out. Let's just paint the scene really quickly. Uncle Joe is the kind of person who I think, well, let me back up here. How can we tell that Uncle Joe is the kind of person who is always ready to entertain?
He has a wine cooler, a wine fridge.
Nice.
Is it called that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
has
actually, sorry.
he has copious amounts of like sort of like IKEA shelves stocked with board games in the living room, easy access.
He's actually a stage magician, and we can see some props in the background, and he's happy to show off his illusions.
Wow, his cool factor just dropped like 50
Uh-huh.
points.
A literal entertainer.
Uh-huh.
I don't want
Wow,
to go to
Uncle
his
Joe.
party anymore.
I know. Is he worth saving? I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think
Throw him in the caves.
his house is still from the era where he has a conversation pit in the center of his living room.
And that's better. He got some points back for that. Okay.
A what?
A conversation pit. It's like in the 70s, it was very popular, over here at least, for houses to have like a sunken living room. So like you would step down into the living room. It's like below the level of the house, and
And
so
you
you're
would
like
sit
and you're like and you
on the
sit.
step. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lined with couches, and it's very like conversation. It's pretty cool.
I've
You should,
never heard of that
yeah, you should look it
before.
up. Yeah, look it up.
I'll find you a picture.
Yeah. It's great though. I would love to find a house that still has one that's in good shape. Okay. So you're kind of coming in and everything, and he goes, "So hey," and he takes out a deck of cards. He's like, "I learned this new trick." He like does it, shuffles up, you know. He fans out the cards in front of you, Taylor, and says, "Pick a card."
Any card?
Any card.
I whispered to Amber, "Is this really happening right now?" And I pick a
Yeah.
card.
He he takes it, you know, he kind of does a whole little thing, and then, you know, asks you to cut the deck and do this and that. And then he holds it up and he's like, "Was this your card?" "It was not your card."
Yes!
He's like,
Great!
"It was?"
No, it wasn't. Sorry, I just wanted to
Oh.
make you.
Well, at least the
So
spaghetti will
you,
be good.
yeah, better than the card trick, I hope.
I'm still working on it, get it worked out.
You'll get there, man. You'll get there. Good
So,
job, almost.
how did you two meet?
We actually
On the
met
internet.
online. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Is it like was it like an online dating thing or something or
No,
No.
it's more about common interests. You know, we both have a lot of nostalgia for Deep Lake, and we
okay,
decided to revisit the
cool.
town.
That's cool. Good. Love that. And he's like, draining the pasta from the pasta water and, you know, reserves a little bit of it, to put on the noodles and then put the sauce and doesn't he's doing all this. He's taking the stuff out of the oven. He's like, well, that's really great. It's so cool. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, or at least all of my adult life anyway. And yeah, this is kind of a weird place, right?
Yeah, it is. Have you always been together with Renita? Or where did you two meet? Was that a dating site?
He says,
I know I'm very smooth.
well, Renita and I are kind of like, we're not like really talking about it much right now. I just went through a divorce and it's a whole kind of messy thing. And it's a bummer she can't be here tonight. I really wanted you, both of you, to get a chance to like really get to know her.
I mean, we do know her.
Well, I mean, yeah, I
We
mean,
know some things about her.
uh, okay, that felt a little weirdly loaded. What do you mean?
And should we already transition to having dinner, or are we still
You
in the
you can
kitchen?
be eating. Yeah, we're kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
And we see um Amber's plate, and she's really not sure what to say, and she arranges the meatballs and the spaghetti that they look like a face. And then she says, well, I mean, you heard what I said earlier today, and I'm not sure how to phrase it differently.
I squeeze Amber's hand under the table.
We'll come back to this in a moment. Zachary and Shane, what's going on now?
Good question. I know. Our housemate just came in covered in blood. Not sure how to follow that.
And then ran out to stop her uncle dating a psycho cop. This,
Who is involved in
yeah.
my brother's killer? So yeah,
Oh,
just
right.
another night in
Yeah,
Deep Lake,
sorry.
right?
I didn't mean to make light of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why did
So what?
you get into this stuff? Like you seem like I don't know, like you're too cool for anything. Like, why did you even get into
Me?
all of this? Yeah.
Me?
Yes, you. You're the only person here, Zachary. Hopefully, might be someone in the walls for all we know.
Yeah. Let's just say I was coming out of a bad breakup. Of course, that breakup followed me here, but I don't know. There's something about those tapes that always stuck in my mind since I was a kid. Or TV Odyssey, that is. Why does nobody remember it except for us?
Shane, who's also been nursing some red wine throughout the evening because she needs it. It's been a long day. Kind of takes a sip from her glass and says, maybe it's like some mass delusion. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe we're just crazy.
you know, I can see a joke in Shane, but it could pretty easily be that. That explanation makes a ton of sense. If you look at, you ever hear of like dancing plagues, where like a whole town will have this mass delusion that they're all dancing together for some reason, or, you know, moral panics. What was that thing they used to say about serpents and sepulchres? The
Satanic panic.
satanic panic, yeah. It's mass delusion. I mean, that could easily, I don't see why we should assume we're not capable of being victims of that kind of thing.
This is
But that's
totally.
what the tapes are about, right? That's a thread to hold on to. That's proof, right? Unless it's somebody messing with us.
I don't know anymore. And maybe it's taken 3 glasses of wine, but I've also realized that I haven't talked to my girlfriend the entire time I've been out here. She hasn't called me. She hasn't sent any emails. Ash is gone. My parents are both dead. Right now,
You know,
you are all I have. And that's very depressing.
thanks. You know, it can be, if she knows anything about what you're going through, it can be hard to know what to say to somebody in that situation. Maybe she just doesn't know how to reach out.
If it's okay with you, Rob, I think Shane is just going to go over and kiss you.
Like kiss, or just
Yes,
like,
just
oh,
full on. If it's okay.
Sure.
Zachary, make the night move. What do you think is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now?
Claire's going to show up.
It's worse than that. She's going to show up by knocking thrice at the door.
Um,
Go ahead and roll with composure.
that's oh no, that's a 7.
Okay.
My composure's good enough to rescue that
How are you
terrible
feeling?
roll.
How do you feel?
Thoroughly convinced that this is a terrible idea, but I don't think Zachary has the self-awareness or self-control to not act on terrible ideas.
Take the condition against my better judgment, and we'll make our last. We'll watch the last little bit of the tape here. Jack, take it away.
Yes, so as Zachary and Shane, as we pull away from them on the couch, we return to the tape where we see the Barnyard Band gathered around Mr. Big Bad. He is napping. We see little birdies in the trees above him, glowering at him with anticipation in their eyes, and his stomach is exaggerated and full. He's doing that sort of snoring sound. One of the birdies, though, goes over and flies down and begins to woodpecker, and it starts to peck on his forehead, and it wakes Mr. Big Bad up. He does that sort of comical, quick shaking of his head, and he realizes that he can't move. he looks and he sees the barnyard band surrounding him, and he looks at his wrists and his ankles, and they're both strapped, tied with rope that have been secured with like pythons staked into the ground. And he pleads. He looks up to the sun, who's also surrounded by clouds now, and the sun also has a bib around its neck, or what should be a neck. um, and he notices that everyone else has bibs around their neck as well. And he says, "Oh, it wasn't me. I wasn't me. You know, I'm just a wolf." And Calamity steps forth, and he has in hand a doctor's bag, but it's colorful and bright, like a bright teal color. And he opens it and he begins to pull out these sharp instruments of surgery. And he says, "Vincenzo promised us spaghetti dinner tonight, and we're going to have it." And he begins to lead the surgery of the evisceration, cutting down vertically uh, with this sort of comically large serrated knife, opening his torso. We see Mr. Big Bag, his head thrashing about. "Oh, no, no, please, no, help me. This hurts." And we see felt intestines being pulled out. We see organs being thrown out, and we see the other barnyard band sort of with pots and pans catching them. We see Clarice the cow take some of the intestines and put them through sort of a pasta strainer, or like one of those Play-Doh strainers that you make pasta with, and she begins to grind it, making spaghetti noodles out of his intestines. And when he is completely emptied out, he says, "I don't feel so good." And Vincenzo approaches Calamity and says, "We cannot have a spaghetti dinner without the meatballs." And Calamity Raccoon smiled. He says, "You know what? You're right." And he looks down at Mr. Big Bad. And we don't see it. We just sort of see from the point of view of Mr. Big Bad as Calamity Raccoon kneels down between his legs. And we hear some snipping, and we see Mr. Big Bad cry out, and his voice shifts and becomes more high pitched as he screams. And he tosses back the meatballs onto a beautiful little platter of felt intestine spaghetti noodles and wolf testicle meatballs. And everyone has a lovely dinner. We see the sun eating, we see the barnyard band eating from the same plate, and Man of War is now singing in the background. And in that sort of old-timey cartoon way, there's a circular dark wipe, and then we come back out. We see Calamity Raccoon pop up out of the out of the circle with a plate of spaghetti and meatballs in his hand. He slurps up a noodle. "Well, that's finger licking good." And the tape cuts out.
Fantastic.
Yikes.
Mhm.
So Uncle Joe says, you know, I think there's just been like some kind of weird misunderstanding going on. I don't know what you and your friends have been doing in town, and I think you must think that Renita is connected to it or something. I don't know, but hey, she and I actually had a really good idea. I think she realizes that there's some kind of like weird tension going on, and she actually invited all of us, meaning me and her and the two of you and your two other friends, to go camping at Los Ojos de los Muertos. She has a cabin out there, and we could go and we could all stay. We could spend a night. It'll be really great. We'll roast hot dogs and marshmallows, and we'll tell ghost stories, and maybe we can even go into the
Meatballs.
caves. It'll be really great, right?
Yeah, but Mr. Uncle Joe, you know, why would we make something like this up?
Well, I don't really quite know exactly what it is she's supposed to have done yet. Everyone's just being a little oblique about it right now. But whatever it is, I feel like a day of camping can make it all right, right? A little bonding out in the desert.
Out of
I
character.
look at Amber
Yeah,
for cute.
what do you guys think? What's more interesting, that we try to convince him now or go there?
Out of character, I would love to go there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Camping trip.
because then she will reveal her true face.
And then we can feed her to the devils.
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. It doesn't make any sense, but of
Mm.
course we'll go camping
That's how it would go in the
with
movie.
the crazy lady.
Yeah. So Amber realizes she can't really talk to him, and then acknowledging that Taylor is holding her hand, she says, "Well, maybe we actually could do that, but you do know that I'm concerned."
Your concern is duly noted, and
Listen to your lovely niece.
right. So, who saved room for tiramisu?
Well, I did, of
Always.
course.
Indeed. And he gets up to go get the tiramisu. And I don't know if we have Rob right now. I think Rob had a work thing. But let's check in with Shane at least. Shane, you've been getting text messages that you have missed this whole time. Repeated text messages from Samantha.
Well, oops. Well, I think that Shane has not been paying attention to the phone or to the Odyssey tape, and this would be a lot easier if Zachary were here right now. But I think after the two of them are done, she'll sort of compose herself, and she'll check at her phone and do that sort of like eye roll of regret. And what do the text messages say?
Linnea wandered into the church, the old Spanish church, and they found her there. They found her there in the church, crying and praying. And no one can get her to leave. She doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Rob can determine whether or not Zachary comes, but comes along with, but Shane will sort of put her top back on and head back out, and head out to what's the church called again? Our Lady of Sorrows?
Our Lady of Pure Waters.
Our Lady of Pure Waters, yeah.
Yeah.
She will she'll make her way over there.
Indeed. And I think that let's just follow up on Our Lady of Pure Waters next time. Maybe it won't go. Maybe you'll get waylaid for some reason tonight, but you can check it out.
Well, if that's the case, and if we're
Yeah.
if we're not going to go there tonight, then we can just sort of retcon and say that Shane was too busy with Zachary.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she'll
that's what I was thinking. Like I was
yeah.
thinking you just like see this and you're like, oh, well,
Well, yeah, she'll see it
okay.
in the morning, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
also what I gathered. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She'll just see them in the morning. She's having fun right now.
Indeed, indeed. I think that'll wrap our phase. Let's go take a look at
If
the
you guys
dawn.
don't mind, I'll give you the clue we stumbled upon.
Oh yeah, what is that? Yeah.
So it's basically in Uncle Joe's home. It's a framed autograph of Dolores Rodenbecker
Oh, interesting.
wearing a tuxedo and a cylinder, just like that famous Marlene Dietrich pose.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it says, you don't get into magic, magic gets into you.
Okay,
I'm
very
obsessed. I love it.
good. I'm obsessed as well. Go ahead and note that down. Let's go to the dawn phase. Let's answer dawn questions. So you've not resolved a mystery yet, but I saw quite a few signals from the other side. If anyone is not sure if they got one or not, please say, but I think everyone did. I picked up on signals from everyone. Um, Taylor, did you share a good memory from your childhood? This goes back to last session as well.
Yeah, I did. I talked about biking with
Oh, that's
my
right. Yeah.
biking and never falling. So
And I
that's good,
think
I
you were
guess.
also vulnerable with someone, so you pick up 3 XP.
Yeah.
Um, we'll pick up with Zachary whenever Rob gets back. Amber, did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
Well, she went to the museum. That was very Deep Lakey, Mysteries of Deep Lake.
Yeah, I don't know if it was out of your way. I think you can actually make the stronger case for like Uncle Joe, and this whole
Yeah,
situation probably. Um,
yeah. Because I wanted to go flirt with Nikki and that didn't
yeah,
happen
that's what I'm
because
saying.
all
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the,
You got very much like distracted by all that.
yeah.
Did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past?
No.
Shane, were you vulnerable with someone? I would say so. uh, did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past?
So I was sort of trying to get with it when I was talking about all the evil things that have happened to her since she's been here, or that have happened
Oh
to,
yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, I'm into
and
it.
how she was like sort of ignorant
Yeah,
of.
no, that whole speech was pretty good. Yeah, I'm into it. Zachary, did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
I don't think
You didn't have a
so.
lot of time, really. Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But you were vulnerable with someone. You can
I
certainly take that one.
was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do I get the signal from the other side? I'm trying to think if I made any
Surely you made
connections there.
You kickstarted the whole spaghetti
the
thing,
whole
so
spaghetti thing was yours, right?
True.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
right. Okay. I'll take it.
Fantastic. And I think that's I think that's it. Short session, shortish session today. Let's go to stars and wishes. This is short but sweet. A lot of fun. I really like that session a lot. It was good now that we've kind of gotten all the whole group back together and kind of it was actually a good time to kind of focus on the Uncle Joe stuff, really, and let that be the emphasis of the session, I think. I really enjoyed that whole sequence. I actually quite like Uncle Joe. I like playing Uncle Joe. He's very much he's the kind of classic, like, clueless, like, older person who doesn't realize what he's gotten into. And, I think he genuinely cares about Amber. But, obviously he's like blithely unaware of the danger going on here. Really, really terrific. I liked that. I like that move. I like Shane putting the move on Zachary. That was really interesting. It felt like a really it definitely like threw everything for like a loop. And that was pretty fantastic. Star for star for the appearance of Manowar in the Odyssey tape. That was very, very good and very, very funny. I think we were all kind of really here for that. And the tape was great. Everyone did a really, really good job with that. That was really, really cool. Liked all that very much. Yeah, just yeah, all around, just a good high impact short session.
yeah, I really enjoyed. I had this delightful picture of like Man of War in full costume appearing in cartoon form in Calamity Raccoon with the, you know, the fur trunks and everything. And oh man, there were a couple of things that I meant to call out and I should have written it down because my mind has just gone blank because I'm trying to juggle so many things at once here. But I really enjoyed the opportunity to kind of revive Amber and Zachary's kind of bit of sparring at one another, and also the whole scene with Shane was like, I think that's like a really interesting development in terms of Zachary's character for like digging into his vulnerabilities, and you know, he puts on this exterior of being this like detached, wiser than thou kind of know-it-all character who's very cynical. But yeah, I think that could be an interesting development there. So yeah, that big shout out for that one. Natasha said something that I was like, that was amazing, and I've now, it's my brain is drawing a complete blank. So I apologize if it comes to me. I will drop a note in Discord.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, no, this was a super fun night phase. I love Calamity Raccoon just in general. He's my fave.
I get to spend 4 days with Calamity Raccoon starting Thursday, so very
love that for you.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I love the tape. Just it was just like it's like some weird Adult Swim thing that like you'd get Man of War in puppet form, and there's a wolf being eviscerated, and there are, you know, there's cartoon violence and all the things that are fun in life. Spaghetti. I want some spaghetti meatballs. Maybe I'll have that for dinner. But anyway, yeah, I loved Amber's so nice. She's so sweet. And like there was something very tender about the like reconciliation between her and Taylor in the car. Because like last session, and you'll see it, Rob, if you watch the previous session, but they were at each other's throats.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
It was really,
they were not having each other. And so to like sort of I mean, nothing bonds people like you know, being covered in someone else's blood, I guess, being present for someone else's decapitation. But I thought it was very tender and sweet, the two of them. And the whole magician thing, just there were everyone was just sort of firing on absurdity today, and I was here for it. That's why I had Shane deep in her cups, you know, doing very foolish things with Zachary. And star to you, Rob, thank you for taking that and trusting me with that. And I'm excited to see the fallout from that, because you know it's going to be interesting, right? Nothing bad can come from that. And also a little star to Natasha, the little line about her Taylor using shampoo. That's
that
not
whole
doing
interaction was so weird. Shane like, I got you soap. Like Taylor's like, yeah, I know what soap is.
But yeah, no, there was a lot of absurdity today. But like it felt very in line with where we're at as a crew. So yeah, just wish looking forward to going camping with Rita so that we can destroy her. You know, two birds, one stone, or two devils, one stone. Um, and yeah, also looking forward to uh sort of figuring out where Linnea is now, because I don't remember where she ends up after the church. So following up on that, and then meeting. I need to go to the Rodenbecker Ranch. I need to go meet Dolores.
Now we have more reason to. So yeah.
I also enjoyed the whole session, and especially that everyone was kind of vulnerable with each other, and it was nice. And Shane showing her caring side, it's very sweet. Even though it was awkward, it was very sweet. And of course, Amber and the whole tape. It's ridiculous and fun, and it was so elaborate. I think that was the most elaborate tape we've watched so far. So I really enjoyed that, all the stupid ideas. And yes, a magician. He's a magician. Michael, what the fuck? It's just so weird. But yeah, great fun, and I'm looking forward to delving further into the characters and seeing what Renita is up to, because I mean, she must have some sort of plan luring us out into the desert. Maybe she is one of those devils. Maybe, whatever. We'll see.
Oh, before I forget, a star for uh, Dolores as Marlena Dietrich. That was pretty great. So just that image was perfect.
So I had a blast today as well. First of all, having everyone back together, that was so much fun, and also having everyone in a scene was amazing. I loved how we painted the scene together. That was already mentioned. And during the break, I thought, okay, is the thing I'm going to say too long? Will everyone just give one detail? But then it ended up being like very elaborate and it fit all together perfectly. I think having Renita as a looming threat, inviting us to to a camping trip in a cabin, in her cabin. That's such a dynamite idea, and I'm glad we didn't resolve it within this night phase, and we convinced him otherwise, because if he's in love or kind of has butterflies for her, and we don't have solid evidence, he's not going to believe us.
He would
So
just
that's
resent your
perfect.
meddling, basically. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of this camping trip for a few reasons. Like one, well, for one thing, I like the idea of like Renita being kind of like a hangover or like a lingering problem from previous mysteries, which I think is interesting. So it kind of keeps that connection to those older mysteries. But also, this is very reminiscent of the Deep Lake Lurker, right? Except it's out in the desert, in the caves, instead of a lake. And but we had like some similar situations going on there, right? We had like like killers and like cabins, and yeah, so it was really interesting. There's some interesting echoes in the campaign there that I like a lot. So yeah, and I guess my
Yeah, but
wish is, yeah, I'm excited for that. So yeah.
yeah, definitely. Besides that, I really didn't see that coming, that how Shane behaves. Like she feels alone and neglected by her girlfriend, and she goes for Zachary. And I liked that you both chose to do that, and I'm really curious to see where this is going, because this is so interesting. And for a moment I thought, and that's why I love so hard, Jason said Shane sees messages from her girlfriend she didn't see previously.
Oh no, it was Samantha. Yeah, but that was a good
Yeah,
that was a good that's a good shout though, because Shane had just talked about like having not heard from the girlfriend. Yeah.
so yeah, my wish is to see that blossom, in which way ever you two uh, might want to go, in which direction you want to go. Yeah, also having that sparring situation with Zachary was really nice, because it was still playful. It wasn't hostile or anything. And I think it was the right decision to reconcile with Taylor in this session, because you never know who's present in which session. And I think it was contrasted to last episode, it was a good follow-up. So I really like that, and also the emotional support she gave or they gave at the dinner, squeezing Amber's hand. So that was pretty sweet. And yeah, I think in terms of wishes, I'm curious. Not a real wish, but we'll get another mystery soon. And I'm just curious and looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got to think about what direction I want this to go as we kind of head into the final, like, kind of bits of the campaign. A star as well for like something we was really pronounced last week and it kept up this week was this like the latchkeys like kind of shading each other all the time, like which I think was really great. Like you could see it with the whole shampoo thing was really good, and then also like Zachary with the black frosting cupcakes and all. Like there was some good like little shade moments as well. So it was really really. I'm still here for the latchkeys, like deepening their bond, but also like still being really shady with each other. Like, you know, so yeah, that's good stuff. Any other stars and wishes?
Kind of a wish, but I leave it up to Rob how he wants to interpret it. But part of me kind of like wants to see the sort of like inversion of the sort of like attachment or lack of attachment that he has in the past with girls. Like see him get sprung on Shane, and then Shane has nothing to do with it.
Also,
Completely
Pantry
just
Girlfriend. Is Pantry Girlfriend going to make a
yeah,
recurrence? I
right.
don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's something to consider. But yeah.
Maybe that becomes a condition for Shane now.
Oh,
Oh, you get your own Pantry Girlfriend. Intriguing.
drama.
Intriguing, intriguing. Fantastic. Well, before we go, we see Big Man, who we haven't seen in a while. He's in a cave lit with a small hand lantern, kerosene lantern. He's laid out on a sleeping roll covered with a kind of like a zarape style blanket. He looks bad. He is nearly skeletal, sunken in on himself, just bone and gristle, bulging eyes, wisps of gray hair. He's asleep. And we hear someone knock on what? It's unclear. There's no door. But we hear someone knock thrice. And a shadow stretches out over sleeping Big Man. He wakes up and looks quickly left and right and realizes that he's tied down. He's shackled to pythons pounded into the ground. And the looming shadow is enveloping him. And he looks up at the shadow and he says, I always knew it would be you. I always knew you'd be the one to come out of the darkness and lead them. And as the camera pulls away, we just hear pained screaming from the cave. And indeed, there's a circular wipe. And I'll see you all next time.